Now, tell me how worried you were after Eddie Lacy had that fumble.
Very worried, being that he's a rookie. I'm a huge Roll Tide. I love Alabama, so I've been a fan since in college. Was worried it was just going to get into his head. That's what you worry about with a rookie. Are you going to recover this game? Is this going to psych you out? I think he came back. I think he got over it, but at first he was pretty off, and we didn't know if he was going to go back in. Goes back in and gets that touchdown.
So you getting into fantasy now. If you're watching as a fan, and you're a Cowboys fan, so you could care less about the Packers, so you wouldn't care. But just talk about that emotion as a fantasy player now that you're doing this. When you see Eddie Lacy not on the field on the next series after that fumble, what's your emotion?
I said to my girlfriend today, I was explaining this to her, and I said, you have kids and I don't. It's like being a proud parent. When you're watching fantasy and one of your players does what you expected or even more than you expected, you feel like a proud parent. You also feel crushed inside when something happens to them that pulls them off to the sideline, and they're sitting there and you think, I hope we can get this out of his head and get back out there and do this. You got to do this. You don't care about the rest of the team. You care about him doing the work.
So when he goes back in and he has the touchdown, how much of a relief was that for you?
That's when you get out and you jump up and down off the couch and you just, this is where it's going to be. This is happening. You go on, you thank him on his Twitter. I stalk all these people. I find all their Twitters, and they're not always their name.
Right.
So you got to do a little work. So you find their Twitter, you just send a little thank you very much,
Yeah, you've been stalking me on Twitter, too.
I've been stalking you on Twitter. I had to thank the Red Zone yesterday because I love it so much. It's the greatest way to be able to watch multiple games at one time.
You're a very nice person from what I've gathered so far. I mean, that might change next week, so I don't want to make any judgments right now. But there are a lot of people who go on these players' Twitters and they trash them.
Oh,
you would not do that, right?
I would not do that, no. I can't even write a bad review on Amazon. If I don't have anything nice to say, I just won't say it at all. I might complain,
right,
but not on their Twitter. We might complain right here, like I think somebody didn't do what they could have done. But I'm not going to go on and say nasty. I see what people write on their Instagram photos. And I think these people are nice enough to share their world with you and do a photo and send it so you can see it. Something about their personal life. And then you're making fun of their shorts or their socks. People are just so mean.
Oh, that's true. You're probably on the receiving end of that, too, though.
It's unbelievable what people feel comfortable and necessary to write.
But that's an interesting analogy you made about kind of having them as your kids, because they kind of feel like your family.
Yeah.
Because you're rooting for them.
Well, plus, every fantasy player I picked, I decided I was going to go and learn more about them. So you start with Wikipedia. You don't know how true that is. Mm-hmm. From there, you can go to things you learn about something they did in college. I wrote out some cue cards. I just wanted to have some background on everybody. Then you feel a little bit connected, like I've adopted you.
So you feel like these players then are part of you now?
I feel like they need to go out and do the work because I need to prove myself this year. They need to do this for me.